Hello everybody and welcome to your 20th tip of the week with Helping Hands. This week we're talking about mines and demolition charges, explosives just in general really. We did cover this briefly in capturing sectors, an old tip of the week we did maybe a year or so ago now. And I thought we would cover mines and stuff because there's a lot more to talk about using mines, and hopefully I can give you some pointers with using them. So let's get into it straight away. So here we have some pioneers. Pioneers, stern pioneers, sappers, and Soviet engineers. They can all lay mines, whereas the normal pioneers, they can lay tellers like this. These are 60 munition mines that do really high damage to vehicles. They will one-shot light vehicles like an AEC, a T-70, stuff like that. That will get one-shotted and it will severely damage any allied medium and heavy armor. They also have this anti-infantry minefield like this, and the combat engineers over here can also lay demolition charges instead of the normal mines. The other two, the Sturms and the Sappers, both lay normal standard mines at 30 munitions each. Okay, they're practically, they look slightly different. The shoe mine compared to the modified M6 mine, but they basically do the exact same damage and stuff. Okay, so let's get on to these guys, these pioneers. So, what do you do when you lay these anti-infantry mines? You don't always have to lay a full quadrant. Well, by a full quadrant, I mean you can see whenever you want to lay. So you go with the hotkeys. It's S and R. So SR. So let's go over here somewhere where there's no mines. So let's say we wanted to lay a minefield between this gap and this hedgerow right here, because this is you always want to lay mines in choke points and like alleyways and that kind of thing where people would try and run through. So if we wanted to lay a minefield like here, we make sure our pioneers are positioned to the south side here, and we bring up the minefield and we would position it to like the side like that. Now pioneers always go to and build the closest patch that they can build first. So if we put them over here and build it, they will go and build this patch here. But if I try and, for instance, if I wanted to put the patch, if I went over here with these pioneers and try to build the patch like that, they would go to the north, the top leftmost quadrant, if you know what I mean. So here you go, they're going to come down here and they're going to start laying the mine, or over here or over there. I don't know why they went to that one. Top left, or up here. But if you want to try and make sure that you always wire the correct patch that you want, make sure they're closer to the point that you want. So over here, angle the mine, and they should go build that one first. There you go. So there we go. They're going to build that minefield. Now, if you let them build it, and then right-click away before they finish building the whole entire lot of mines, then you've got a small quadrant. So that way, you can. It's quite very economical as well, because it costs you 60 munitions to build all 4 patches and only 15 per quadrant, right? Which is a very effective way of dealing with any infantry. It's like probably the most cost-effective mine package of all the factions in the game. This, because you've got like a squad coming through this. Let's get some enemy infantry that rushes through this. They'll take such considerable damage. Let's get some conscripts up, and we'll just make this minefield. So we go select this minefield and go owner, enemy mines, and then we just put these conscripts through it. They will take considerable damage. See? So for 50 munitions, we killed 8 conscripts, which is a huge, and which is a really good, that's good, right? That's awesome. For only 50 munitions. Let's say if you walked into a standard mine like this, owner, enemy. So we know there's an enemy mine there, and we got a couple of conscripts and walked through that. We always use conscripts for the meat grinder. Relic would be proud. So we rush in here. And then we killed what? We killed 4 conscripts. So for 4 conscripts, we spent 30 munitions to lay a mine then for 4 conscripts. Okay. Over here, spent 50 munitions, killed 8. Okay. And this is you got to bear in mind though that this is blobbing. So obviously you take both units and rush down a point. You shouldn't do this as any player. You shouldn't rush down your army all down one side because I'll go on to demos in a minute. But that's one of the reasons why you shouldn't blob. But even so, if you do rush one infantry squad into a mine at any one time, let's get another mine down here quick. Wrong unit. Let's get you guys over here. At most, one of these mines will kill off 2 men at most. Very rarely have I ever seen it kill off 3. In the past, mines used to do this, do considerable damage, even more so depending on the squad positioning. But now they've been balanced, so they don't one-shot squads, which they used to, especially when jumping out of buildings. But that's no longer the case. So let's make this an enemy mine again. Owner enemy. You can see it because my sweepers are nearby. Go on to sweepers in a bit as well. So just wait for the mine to disappear. And then we'll run over we'll get a fresh conscript out. Here we go. Infantry conscript. Right. So run through it. And most we maybe lose 2 models. So there we lost 2 models. So this is in high level games or even medium level games. This is what you're most experienced when you run into enemy mines or you try and lay mines against an opponent. So for 30 munitions, you've wiped 2 models. So we retreat these back to base. I mean, I think it's good to always lay mines anyway because you're spending your munitions. You don't want your munitions just to float and be useless, right? But you want to try and use those munitions the most effectively because laying mines like this might not always be the most cost-effective solution, as you can see here, compared to like here, really cost-effective. Over here, maybe not so cost-effective, especially if the conscripts are running into them because these guys are quite cheap to reinforce, right? So we'll see here. So they cost 20 manpower. So what, for 30 munitions, you've got, what, 40 manpower? You bled your opponent 40 manpower. It's okay. It's not great. If a guard squad ran into a shock squad, that would be better because they cost more to reinforce. So try and lay mines in. So if you see your enemy always taking his shocks or his guards like down a specific route, then yeah, maybe lay some mines down there because you'll get more cost-effective returns on your your munitions investment, right? And stuff like that. Okay, so let's go on to pioneers again. Where have they gone? They've gone invisible. Over here. All right. So let's say if you wanted to play, wrong. These guys. Like half a quadrant. So if you want to lay half a quadrant, you would do this. So if you wanted to, like, because this is the direction that the enemy would come. So this is the enemy's base, right? So they would come this way to try and cap this sector. So we want to lay the mines on this side of the point. So what we would do is we would build the quadrant like this, and we would turn it to run like that. So now they would build from there to there, and they'll have like a minefield from here. So they'll rush in and get hit by the mines, like so. There we go, just let them build it. And there you go, you got half a quadrant there. And then even if like for instance here it was easy to build the minefield because like the 2 of these sides over here are red, which means you can't build over there. So they can't obviously build any more mines because it won't allow them to. But again, like if you wanted just still to build like a half a quadrant like here, you just make sure this pioneers are over to the side. Build the minefield. The great thing about these guys is they actually mine up really. These anti-infantry mines are really good because they put them up in a matter of seconds. There you go, and then you right click away to stop them going over to make more mines. And there you go. Now you've got a 30 munition minefield, which is quite nice. I think each quadrant comes with 4 mines. I think. Let me just check. Let's just select the whole lot. Make sure we not select the ones on the side. Yeah. 1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah, so each quadrant comes with 4 of these anti-infantry mines, which are very useful. So there we go. That's the anti-infantry mines. Hope that was helpful with that. Oh, one other thing. Because they're so quick to lay, like these anti-infantry minefields, they're very good at potentially wiping squads and retreat. So let's say, you had an engagement around the mid and your enemy's firing, you're having like a house-to-house fight over here. Your enemy would probably retreat this way back to their base. If you manage to get some pioneers and snuck around the side here and then laid some mines like there on the road, by the time if they retreated through that minefield, you probably could guarantee a squad wipe because these mines, when they get laid, they cover such a big area. It's almost guaranteed to do some serious damage. And because one mine normally sets up another, because the mines are sometimes in so close proximity. As you can see here, like in this area here, these mines are very close to each other. So if this one went off, the others over here would go off as well. I can demonstrate this with for instance, the King Tiger. So over here, you've got one mine that's on its own. If I attack round over here, this should start the chain reaction off. So only one went off because that one mine was on its own. But if I came over here and shot here, all these mines would go off. Let's just vandalize this graveyard. Right, shoot there. Or not, shoot the goddamn gravestone because you're an imbecile. There you go. So you saw the chain reaction there, right? Because all the mines were clumped up. So then you got, and also this is a good way of clearing mines as well. So let's say if you were an ally player and you were dealing with this stuff, get your tank to just shoot it, or better yet, just drive over the minefield. However, then you think of counterplay, right? As the Axis player. So if your opponent decides, if you notice your opponent uses their tank to try and crush this minefield, maybe a good idea might be to mix in a teller with that. So because he would think, oh, there's only infantry mines, I haven't got to worry about my vehicle getting damaged because I could just run over it. If you put a teller in there, that'll surprise him, and you might go, you one shot, one kill the light vehicle that's trying to crush it. Because normally most people use their T-70 or Stuart or AC to quickly clean up these mines. So let's get ourselves, okay, so over here for instance, let's make these all enemy mines. So select, this is just a standard quadrant. Owner, enemy. Misclick that, enemy, here we go, right, so that's all enemy mines. So if you got yourself like a Soviet light vehicle, tank rather, mostly you want to get a little tank like a T-70 or an AC, because light vehicles like an M3 or an M5 might take some serious damage to these mines, but if they're if they've got some armor on like a T-70, it still will do damage, but not much at all. So you'll see here, you get the T-70, and you just rush through here. And you keep running through the minefield until these signposts disappear. Because once the signposts disappear, like that was the last mine, that means you've cleared the entire minefield. So that's a good telltale sign that you're safe to go, right? So the mines did what? A third damage to the vehicle. Not bad. Got some veterancy as well by hitting the mines, so it's not so bad. But you want to be careful that you do this and there's no enemy nearby, because you can pull it back and get it repaired. This is a safe way to clear a minefield without taking any damage yourself, like any manpower bleed, because it's just repair time really, which is not, which can be easily repaired quite quickly. So that's a quite good way. Or you could just get your vehicle to shoot the mines instead. That could work. Or you could get a mortar. A mortar to bombard the area would be a nice way to clear this minefield patch. So yeah, if we got let's just do another quick example here with an AEC. Selection, owner, enemy mines, enemy. There we go. Right. Now the AEC probably would have a worse time. I would imagine the AEC would have a worse time of it because it's not a tank. It's a light vehicle, but we'll give it a go. Should still be okay though. That's actually doing better. I'm surprised actually, the AC managed to tank that damage a lot better. And again, just make sure you get all the mines, just keep going around on the fringes that you might have missed. There's got to be one here that we missed. There you go, got it. So there you go, easy way to clear a minefield. But like I say, if you see your opponent trying to do that, maybe get a cheeky teller in there and you might be able to get a wipe as they try and clear it with their vehicle. Anyway, enough of this. You've demonstrated that not long enough. Right, let's go on to just standard mine placement, okay? Like so. Right, we talked about, you always, whenever you plant mines, you need to remember the enemy's base and where they come from, right? So the enemies in this situation are from the north, so they're going to be coming from this direction out of their base. And from this way around their base, okay? So you want to be laying mines over here and over here, okay? Especially on key strategic points like the VP. So like a mine there would be good, and a mine over here. Also, another thing to note, you want to make sure that you plant a mine not near to the point, okay? If you plant a mine near to the point, the actual point, the enemy will see you. Okay, so by this, let's make this VP the enemy's VP for a second. So selection. Wait, no, we want to make it our VP and make these guys the enemy. Okay, so let's do this. So we'll turn a fog of war off. So we make owner enemy. Let's make that enemy mine. Shit, what am I doing? Okay. Okay. Owner, enemy VP. And we take fog of war off. Okay, so yeah, if we were to plant a mine like here, the enemy would see it. Okay. So if I go, sorry, 1 second, guys. Shit, what am I doing? Ah, damn it. Oh no. Okay, fog of war. Right, we got vision here because these pioneers are close by. Let's see if we can grab a point over here. Okay, yeah. So as we get further away from this point, right, here we go. This is what I mean. So here you can see that we have some slight vision around this point, right? So if an enemy was to plant a mine there or a demolition around here, we would see it. So you always want to plant the mine on the edge of the sector, like over here. See, here is the fog of war. You can't see there. If I move these pioneers further away, you probably can get an easier understanding of it. So like everywhere around here. This is the same for all points, right? So let's have a look at another one. So we move away from this point as well. The strategic sector, you'll see as we move away from it, we still retain some of that vision, as you can see there. So we've got that little bit of vision around that point. So having that mine and stuff around the side there is absolutely crucial. Never plant the mine or demo on top of the point because the enemy will see it. Okay, always on the fringe. That being said, if you do put a demolition charge on the fringe of the point, the enemy will. You will not be able to see the enemy moving in onto the point until maybe they've gone too far forward. So you need to be really quick to react to that. So that requires you to be quite fast on your micro. So you need to be like, oh, enemy, look at your minimap. He's gone to the point. Then quickly detonate it as he tries to go over it. If you're not as quick with your micro, you can do something else, which is, let's just get ourselves another combat engineer over here. Which is double booby trap the demolition charge, which is put a mine over the demo charge, right? So what this does is that the enemy, as they will come across this mine, it will trigger the demo to explode as well, and therefore it will blow up a lot more. So let me give you an example. Let us make that mine an enemy mine, just for the sake of things. Owner enemy, there we go. Right, so we get some conscripts, 4 conscripts. Probably should use penal battalions, to be honest. So, and then we'll pretend that we're the north side player coming out from our base. Why is that guy frozen on that point? I don't know. I'm gonna spawn. Oops. Goddamn base. Delete. Okay, she might be like, the enemy might come out from their base and be like, oh look, I want to grab my sector back, and you've laid a cheeky mine. So you just come across here, and then you'll actually hit the demo, and boom, everything's dead. Right, huge explosion. So that's a good way to make sure that your demo does go off if you're not watching it. So because you might be busy microing some engagements down the south here, for instance, because your opponent might flank around the side here. And then having like a mine and a demo like that is a good way to make sure that you don't have to keep track of them. But that's, however, against good players, they will always push up with a sweeper. So let's talk about sweepers now. So whenever you take a new territory point, take a new sector, always bring up and push forward with a sweeper first. This is like #1 thing that you need to be doing. Like, no, I don't see enough players doing this. So always make sure you got a sweeper for the stern pioneers. Always upgrade a sweeper. and make sure that with the with the Sturms especially, what you do is you push forward with the Sturms. Check to see if there's any mines. No mines. Press D on the hotkeys to give the guy that had a sweeper his SDG back. So he's now at full firing capacity. So he's got full firepower. And then as you go into more, and again, new territory, put on the sweeper again. Check, no more mines. Check, turn it off, and just keep doing this. If whenever you're going into new territory with those Sturms, right? Always with even if you're like a sapper, always, in general as well, you always want at least one squad with sweepers. So as the British, you want a sweeper upgrade. As the combat engineers, you want a sweeper upgrade. Then maybe a flamethrower, another one. As the Americans, you always want your REs with these guys. Let's show you these guys. Rear echelon squad. These guys with the sweeper package upgrade. Okay, they need. You always need that. And yeah, like I say, every time, even you get pushed off. Let's say you got pushed off your side of the battlefield, and you wanted to retake it quickly. That you still want to push up with sweepers, because your opponent might have laid down some aggressive mines, which is a very good thing to do if you want to bleed your opponent trying to come out and retake their territory. So let's say you had a huge engagement here, you push the enemy back. That's when you would probably lay the cheeky demo and mine there and that kind of stuff, and you'd be like, oh no, I want to get my territory back. I need my cutoff back because I've got because this is connecting my fuel, so I need this back. Don't rush into trying to get your territory back, because that might cost you the game. Because one demolition charge and your entire army blows up, then that's going to cost you a lot. So always make sure you always push with the sweep. I can't stress that enough. Also, I kind of want to try. I've always wondered this. I've not ever tried this myself, because let's just do it. There's a combat engineer. I want to check to see if this works. We're going to put a combat engineer into a half track and see if the half track has minesweeping capabilities, because I'm not sure and I've never really tried it. I think it does. People have told me it does, but we're trying it right now. So let's make this an enemy mine. Owner. Oh shit! I need to turn this VP neutral, because otherwise the end game is going to end. Neutral. There we go. Okay, so that mine there. Owner. Enemy. Okay. Let's see. Let's see if they spot the mine. They do! Okay, so there you go. Guys that are garrisoned can sweep mines. So therefore, and also if you run over a mine that has been swept, that is revealed, it won't detonate. There you go. So if we see the mine, it won't detonate at all, right? If you can run over it as much as you want, you will not get blown up unless the mine goes, unless the sweepers disappear. So let's imagine we're over here, we stay on top of this mine, right? We move these sweepers away, the mine will disappear, then it should detonate, I would imagine. Let's just test it again. I think it will. Let's wait for it. It should disappear any second now. There you go. As soon as it disappears, it will then detonate. So there you go. So make sure you always got a sweeper nearby. Also, if your mine, let's say your mine, that mine was yours, and your mine got spotted by the enemy. So let's get rid of you now. Delete. Oh no, delete. Okay. We'll come back to the half track in a second. I just wanted to. So let's say your mine got spotted. Just put another one down here quick. If you notice, your opponent that was trying to sweep your mine, for instance. Alright, let's put that as a... enemy mine. There we go. So these sweepers are going to try and go sweep it, right? Okay. But if you use the King Tiger and shoot the ground, you can blow the mine up before they try and sweep it. Okay? So that's a good thing to do. So if you see your mine's about to get just detonated, a nice trick to do I figured out a while ago is do the same thing with tellers against infantry. which enables you to get squad wipes. So let's get ourselves those pioneers. God, we've got so many units now. Let's delete a couple. Delete. 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 Okay. Right, you guys. So, Teller, right? Cheeky Teller there. Let's have some, I don't know, US forces. Because, like, so, austere players don't have Goliaths or demolition charges, right? So they're stuck with Tellers as their best kind of explosive, unfortunately. But you can still use this to your advantage against infantry. So let's imagine you've got, like, I don't know, USF Blob. America, yeah. Right, and then we've got, I know you got your austere tank, Panzer IV. Try and defend. You can imagine, like, the enemy's, like, moving forward their blob. Like this. If you attack ground with your Panzer IV on that mine as he crosses it, you might miss, right? Like that. But hopefully you might, you know, sometime you might be successful. But the mine detonates and it does do some damage. So, you know, it might be better to detonate the Teller. Sometimes it could do quite well and blow up and wipe an entire squad, depending on how the health of that squad. But if you feel like the mine's just going to get swept up anyway after you're pushed back, because like if this blob came in, you probably have to retreat from that area, and your opponent would probably come through with sweepers soon and then try and sweep their mine. So you might as well get your money's worth while you can and detonate the mine while he's got troops over it before he sweeps it, right? So that's another way to try and see if you can get some benefits with your mines, if you can. Okay, next thing, let's think about... Okay, so mine positioning. Oh, also, okay, so let's get some combat engineers again. Combat engineers, here we go. Right, so, whenever you play a map, you need to always think about the blind spots. Now, what do I mean by blind spots? So the map is always, whenever you play a map, it's always fixed in a certain position. But if you press Alt, you can turn the map around. Hardly any players turn the map around. I know Cataclaw used to do this. He's a streamer for Co. And maybe one other person. But not many people, including myself, ever bother to turn the map around. This could be to your advantage. You could turn the map around and plot a cheeky demo like that by the side of the house. Okay. You press double back. Press double backspace to reset the position. And there you go, you got cheeky demo your opponent might not spot, okay? Because he would not, you know, because he'd have to turn the camera around to see that. So he would possibly see the tiny icon there, but sometimes, you know, low skill to average level skill, they probably might not spot something like that. No offense to those type of players, but it is very small, and they obviously won't see the big detonate symbol there, so that would be there. But if it was like, if it got spotted out in the open, so if we just put a demo like that here. It will be very obvious to the naked eye, because every demo, when it gets revealed, has this white circle around it, which is very revealing, right? So you can definitely, it'll be like a big, oh shit, there's a demo here, but you don't see that circle here, okay? Because obviously you have to turn the camera to see that. So try and always, whenever you're playing like a map, try and see where the blind spot is. So like maybe another blind spot here would be behind here. But you probably want to put the demos in high active areas. So obviously here the middle of the map is going to be big because there's a VP. Houses are very dominant because they control this whole area over here. This house is like a gateway to the left and to the right. So this, you know, same thing for over here. So again, you know, with the house here, you probably put one of a demolition charge on the back there. So yeah, try and think about demos over there. Also, denying cover is a good spot for mines and demos. We did that in the capturing sectors video. So, for instance, our opponent's going to come from the north, so we'd probably put maybe a demo on this side of the green cover over there, or a mine like over. So like a demo would be here, or maybe a mine over here, because this is where he would utilize green cover. If you haven't got munitions, just lay wire. Always try and deny, you know, if your engineers are not doing anything, you might as well try and deny enemy, you know, the strength of the enemy that they could use in the terrain, and that would be the cover that they have available to them. So just doing that. Another thing, if you could, you know, better yet, if you wanted to deny cover, if you were Brits, the Royal Engineers destroy cover ability is bloody useful. It really quickly destroys walls and stuff like that. Boom. Huge. That is a really good... That destroys your own cover, though. That to be noted. So you've got to be careful with that. So, you know, this ability is quite useful for, like I say, destroying cover. But again, it will destroy potential cover that you could use as well. So, you know, wiring off obviously denies the enemy side cover, but then you could still gain the wall on your own side. But yeah, but this ability is also for good for, like, destroying, you know, anything kind of blocking in the way. Like so. Okay, anything else we could cover? Riflemen can lay mines with the Pershing commander. I can't remember if any other commanders give them mine laying abilities. I think maybe the infantry commander. Americans have access to demos with the assault engineers, and they can lay mines. Oh, yeah, vehicles that can lay mines. Okay, so the half track with the Regal 43 anti-tank mine. This is a commander ability, so you have to choose a specific commander to get this. Lays a 50 munition type of telemine. Okay, so it's like this is pretty much a telemine. So if a vehicle runs over that, it's going to hurt. So you might be able to do some cool baiting with this. You could, you know, because not many people actually lay these type of mines, so that would really catch people off guard. So you could like imagine an AEC would chase you down the road. You'd be like, oh no, I'm gonna lose my thing, and then you could bait him into it. The M20 is the other vehicle that can lay a mine. It's 10 munitions more than that. It's 60 munitions, and it's the M6 anti-tank mine. Basically does the same thing. Like so. And a telltale sign that someone is laying a mine is obviously the top guy goes into like a crouched position. You see that? So he goes down. So that's a telltale sign that someone's putting down a mine. Okay, so always watch for that. With the half track, you can't really tell as you put down like a mine over here. Oh, you can look. You can see they also go into the crouched position. Shows you how often I use this commander ability. So they also do the same thing. So you got, you know, there's both visual telltale clues of vehicles laying these mines. We can go on to Goliaths. I think I'm not a fan of Goliaths. They're not really worth it, to be honest. The commander itself is pretty shit, and the Goliath makes a very distinctive noise. Let me just quickly go over them. Let's go tanks. There's a little light vehicle. Here we go. That noise that you hear there with this Goliath, this is the only vehicle that makes that noise. So as soon as you hear this through the fog of war, you can tell. Like if I just like delete these guys, section delete. Okay, we're going to get this unit and we're going to move it to here, and we're going to make it an enemy unit. Right, selection, owner, enemy. Then we listen. I wonder what that is. So, you know, and this is like another tip of the video I had, which is listening through the fog of war. So go watch that if you haven't. So here we're listening through the fog of war. We hear the specific engine sound of the Goliath, and it's, you know, as soon as it's made, it makes such a huge noise. You can even hear it from over here. So, and now we know it's over here. So the Goliath is very, you know, obvious. Maybe low-level players and average players, you might be able to get away with a Goliath explosion. But what are we doing? Let's move you over here. Let's get another one out. But yeah, so same thing with Goliath though. I would probably, because they're so obvious and they're quite big, and they make a distinctive sound. Goliaths do camo, so the best thing to do if you do get a Goliath out is you get it immediately and you run over it to to somewhere where it can gain cover. I think it's in camo there. Yeah, it appears to be in camo. Doesn't have a shield though to indicate that it is in camo. But again, do the same thing with what we have with the demolition charge, trying to hide it behind the house, like so. As soon as it goes out of camouflage, out of cover, then it loses its camouflage, so it's revealed. So you put it there. For some reason it's very inconsistent with it camoing there, because it looks like it's in the hedgerow. You got to keep moving it forward and seeing if it's in camo or not. See if it will camo from there. And they cost like 90 munitions as well, right? So it's not the best, you know, because sometimes they won't actually get a squad wipe, and you know, for 90 munitions you kind of want to get a squad wipe for that investment, and sometimes, you know, it's very risky because you're gonna have to get the best use out of it. You might have to run in with the Goliath quickly to then get the demolition charge off, like so. And by the time that you move in, your opponent might catch wind of it and then retreat straight away. Also, as the Goliath is traveling, it can get destroyed quite quickly. Like 180 grenade will kill it. Just even small arms from anything will quickly kill it off. So I'm personally not a huge fan of the Goliath. I probably wouldn't use it, just because the commander isn't very good. Because you have to go for a commander for that unit, and there's no late game potential really with that commander. You're not going to tank call-ins or infantry call-ins or like that. So yeah. One last thing I want to talk about is using units in coalition with mine placement. So I did this the other day on stream and people thought it was cool, but I'll give you an example of what it was. It's not that cool. Basically, get your mortar, smoke forward. Best to do this when the territory is not in your control, because then it looks like you're just going for the cap instead. If you did this while the territory point was already capped, it'd look very suspicious, right? Because this smoke would only benefit your opponent trying to cap it. But if you come to this side of the opponent while it's smoked, and then you would lay a demolition charge while in smoke, so the enemy could be over here and quite close to you, and he wouldn't even see you laying this demolition charge. And as soon as you laid it, like, quickly retreat back before the smoke clears, and then he would be none the wiser and rush in and then blow up. You know, this would work quite well because many people, people keep checking for engineers, and they think, they always look at engineers where they are on the field and stuff. And if they don't see any engineers, they assume it's safe. All right, I and myself included. So, like something like this, where you cover the movement and the actions of your pioneers or engineers or whatever with a mortar smoke is very useful, I think. So then you can get cheeky demo off without being spotted, and quite forward as well, under the cover of smoke. So if you're a USF player, you could put, if you didn't have a mortar, you could use the smoke here, or for instance the smoke with the M20. With the M20 you could do it as well. You can imagine you can come through here with the M20, you could smoke, and then lay a mine while you're smoked, like that. Though by the time the smoke is dispersed, they see you, so you'll be able to get the majority of the mine up while in smoke, but you won't be able to complete the mine without being seen. So it's probably not a good idea to do that. But it's still like utilizing that smoke is just another example. So you might be able to get that smoke off then, and then you follow up with maybe some more mortar smoke to then make sure that you get the mine off under the cover of smoke, because you've barraged again with maybe a Sherman smoke as well. So we can go for. Let's go for tanks and for Sherman. Now that's like smoke canister. Drop it on. You're sorted. Anyway, I think that's all we can do. I thought that was pretty good. So we talked about anti-infantry mines, tellers, standard mines, the economical use of mines, detonating your own mines with your own vehicles. Booby-trapped demos. Anything else? You could put, like, for instance, Jaegers and Obersoldaten guys can booby-trap points. So, OKW units, infantry. Here goes. Yeah, booby-trap. 50 mission booby-trap, so you can booby-trap the point, like this. This is another explosive demolition use. Enemy comes into the territory, blows up. Takes quite considerable damage. If it's a low health squad that tries to, imagine if it's a sniper that tried to cap the point, they would definitely die. Or if it's like a major, maybe that will get wiped. Definitely will do like 3 or 4 model damage. Well, let's test it actually. I'm kind of curious because sometimes it's inconsistent, but it does do some decent damage. Let's go owner enemy. Still our point, I think. Let me just test with these guys. Will it blow up? No. Alright, let's make this our point. Selection, owner, me. Let's put some rifles in there. Make them the enemy. So they got in there, they only lost one man. But the squad took almost half health damage overall, which is not bad because then like the Jaegers can then start, or whatever other unit you have nearby can clean the squad up and give them some veterancy because they're getting some kills. So that's another thing. One other thing I want to talk about is conscripts. I just remembered conscript, and does guards have it as well? Ooh, that's a good question. Flares. Okay, they get flares of Vet 1. Do guards get flares? I don't know if they do. Yes, they do. Those ones do. Guards. Okay, guards get them as well. Penals don't, I don't think. Yeah. Alright. So these flare abilities is 10 munitions, I believe. They have to be... Every one of these guys has to be Vet 1, so we will vet them up just for the sake of this. Combat, veterancy, add 1 veteran... No. There we go. So Vet 1. So we got assault guards. These guys come in that M5 half track with the Lend-Lease commander. Conscripts, obviously conscripts get them straight away. So this is a 10 munition flare. Oh, there's the Goliath. Let me just quickly demonstrate how quickly it dies. So even PPSH from range will quickly take that down. And you always want to stay at max range versus something like that as well. You don't want to even get near to it. Okay, so flare, what you do is you put 1 flare down. This is quite very, this is probably even more cost effective than the standard mine. So if you can remember when we talked about when the mine detonated and it only killed 2 men, right? So for 30 munitions, you got 2 men. A flare is almost guaranteed. Yeah, it's guaranteed to wipe 1 man of a squad practically all the time. So it's probably better to lay like a series of flares in like a line than it is to put down mines, for example. But obviously it takes a lot quicker to put down 1 mine than it is to put down multiple flares. But if you've got multiple conscripts, then you can probably get lots down quite quickly. And they're very hard to see as well. So that's another good thing about flares. If they are revealed on the map, they are so tiny. Look how tiny that is. And from long range, you might not even spot that. So if we got ourselves, like for instance, let's make these flares an enemy flare. Let's get some more down, actually. The other benefit from a flare is obviously the fact that it's a flare, right? So that's gonna like, it's gonna shoot up in the sky and light up the area so that we can see what's going on. So let's get ourselves, for instance, an austere snipe saws. Let's move these guys away for a second, and let's select all these flares on the ground. And then we go section owner enemy flares. Okay, so then we get. I think the sniper probably gets 1 shot into a flare. Let me just check. Oh, I think he practically. Yeah, he used to get 1 shot by a flare, but he got a little bit more extra HP, I think, in the last patch, and now he survives a direct flare hit. But he won't supply it too. But you see, like the flare pops up. Flare doesn't reveal the sniper though if he's in camo, just to make sure that's the case. But so a flare will not 1-shot a sniper anymore, okay? But it will practically bring him down to like a slither of health, and it'll only require 1 bullet to finish him off, okay? Let's get ourselves a like a standard austere infantry grenadier squad, and we try and get the grenadiers moving in. So 1 guy died. Oh, and it also suppressed the squad as well. So 1 model died, 2 model died. Flares keep flying up in the sky. I think there's 1 more over here, wasn't there? So yeah, guaranteed to get a wipe. So for what? 30 munitions there, 3 models. 30 munitions over here with a standard mine, with a normal conscript mine, you only get 2 models most times. So the flares are quite useful. So don't forget to try and use flares. They're very, very cost effective and yeah, it's just handy because you give yourself vision. Because then when the flare pops in the sky, you can see everywhere, see if the enemies, how much forces they have over there. And also, it's a good thing to do. It's like with conscripts and whenever you're capping a sector, you always want to try and fortify the sector as much as possible. So here we have the VP on the right. So you probably want to get yourselves like the cover, a sandbag up first. Once the sandbag's completed, then you might want to put some flares down on the other side of that sandbag to try and fortify the position. So you go one flare down. Like maybe another one over there. So by the time you've captured the point, you maybe got you've got some you've defended it quite well. Guards unfortunately can't lay sandbags, so they definitely could lay down at least 2 flares by the time they captured this. So, for instance, the standard fuel point. By the time they've captured the point, they probably could easily get down 2 flares. One thing to notice though, when they do plant a flare, they bunch up all quite close and tightly knit. And if a Panzer IV did come across, for instance, and then decided to shoot there, they would probably get a squad wipe because they're all clumped up like that. Okay, so you've got to bear that in mind as well. You've got to be careful of the way they position themselves. So here they're a little bit more spread out. So you've got to be careful. So look, we so easily planted 2 flares before we captured the point, because then once you've captured the point, you want to move on to the next point, right? So, but you want to try and make it as difficult as possible for your opponent to try and retake the point. So do it. So there you go. Put two flares down by the time you capture that fuel easily. Probably even 3 if you're lucky. But maybe it's not a great idea to spam flares too much, because your opponent might get wind of it and then they'll just get sweepers and clean them up as quickly as they possible. But again, like I say, flares are very hard to spot. Even I can't see those flares from that far away. So yeah, be considerate when you're placing flares, and don't put them too close to each other either, because then they might one flare will trigger the other one, and only one model might die. I think that's it. Yeah, I think we covered practically everything for demos and mains and stuff. Hopefully this tip of the week was useful. Sorry if I thought this was going to be a short tip of the week, but then I just thought of so many things to talk about as usual. Sorry. Oh, one last thing. Because we figured out that the engineers with sweepers inside vehicles can sweep while they're moving. Let me quickly. Owner. Just want to check if it was the same thing with the half track here, because this half track here, the troop is can't shoot out, so I'm not sure if they might actually spot the mine. Oh, they do. They still do. Okay, so it doesn't matter. So it doesn't matter if they can't shoot out like the M5 half track, or if they cannot. They will still spot mines. So this is a good way. So imagine if you had a half track like this and you had a tank column in your infantry. You would just, if you wanted to blitzkrieg down a certain flank route, you can really surprise an enemy. This is what you would do. Get an engineer with a sweeper inside the half track, and then get all your vehicles and then just quickly rush through the line, because your opponent is going to think, oh, my left flank or my right flank is defended because I put some mines there. He's going to have to sweep them before he can attack, so therefore I've got some time to react to that. If you do this and rush through it, he would be caught by surprise. I would be caught by surprise, because no, I hardly see anybody do this, so this is quite a nice trick. So try and do that. And again, like I said earlier, because we've swept the mine, you could run over the mine and not take any damage. But again, be careful, because if the enemy does see you crossing that mine, like if an 80 gun fires on you as you cross that mine, the mine will detonate and that unit will probably die, so be careful. Yeah, that's it. Thank you guys for watching, and yeah, hopefully this tip of the week was useful to you. See ya. Bye bye.